My spouse has been acting incredibly strange. Should I help him or escape? There is a trigger warning here. This story is more dark. It deals with mental health, a mention of abuse, so I just want to put it out there. Trigger warning. But as you guys know, I think that mental health is a real problem and it should be talked about, and it's relatable and a lot of people go through it. So hopefully we can all just support each other in the comments and give our opinions respectfully. Let's dive in. This story came July 14th, 2024. My 30 female spouse, 35 male, has been experiencing behavior that has only become increasingly concerning. In the past 2 months now, he's been talking about things that he claims are happening, but he's never mentioned before. As some background info, when his behavior first started getting concerning, I managed to convince him to go to the hospital to get checked out for his mental health. He wasn't even seen by a doctor, and he was told that he just needs to take a certain medication to help him sleep. The issue is he also smokes MJ, we will say in the video, so this medicine does not mix well with that. He won't quit smoking. We also have 2 very young kids. Back to the weird recent behavior. He claims he had an old email with an inheritance that got hacked and he needs to access it. I tried helping him get on that, but he hasn't used it in literally the 12 years that we've been together. I only knew of its existence previously when I helped him switch his Facebook login, and there was an email attached. Another example is that he believes everyone is talking about him to me and everyone else. I mean, literally everyone else. He thinks there's some sort of big thing planned to hurt him or do something horrible to him, and that we're all in on it. On a few other separate occasions, he asked about a show that we're on and asked how much money I'm being paid to keep a secret. Okay, this is definitely bizarre and unusual behavior. He also thinks I'm having secret phone calls and that I've apparently left the room to accept those calls, which then results in me coming back crying about something I've apparently discussed on the phone. Whenever I try to explain to him that none of this is happening, he fights back, saying that I'm just lying to him and I'm not telling him the truth. That I need to tell him the truth or something bad is going to happen. It's gotten so bad, he ended up getting fired from his job because he was barely showing up. He kept going to the cop station to make a report instead of going to work. There's got to be something serious going on here. I don't want to diagnose anybody, but like almost a paranoia or hallucination where you genuinely believe these things are actually happening or you're seeing them happen. That's scary. After he got fired, there was some sort of tense situation where they ended up calling a wellness check for him because they were afraid he's going to come back and hurt someone. The cop showed up while I was also home and he said he wouldn't hurt someone, he only acts in defense. In recent weeks, he's gone from screaming at me, demanding answers, to just not talking to me at all. At this point, I'd rather he just not interact with me. The reason I'm writing this is because of what happened today. It was a nice day out and I asked if he would come with me for a walk with our kids, to which he agreed. He barely spoke a word to me or the kids on this walk, and when we came across a playground, I asked if we should take the kids there for a few minutes to play. He then got upset at me for suggesting it and said I always control everything and I'm the, quote, queen of the decisions. I didn't even tell him we were doing that, I just asked. When I mentioned this, he just said, do whatever you want, like always. So I figured, why not? So I played with the kids at the playground and he did his own thing. Someone left a couple various balls there and he was throwing them around. He then picked up the football and threw it in my direction. It flew past me a couple feet from me. I asked why he did that and he said, why are you upset? It didn't hit you. To which I responded, well, what if it did? He then said, if I wanted to hit you in the head, I would have thrown it that way. No, Alan. Alan is still with us. It has been far too long. Alan owes me rent at this point. Then he started on a rant about how he's going through the same thing with everyone lying to him, after which he sat down in the corner of the park and literally was doing nothing. I was getting upset, so I packed up the kids and started walking to leave the park. I said to him, we're going home. and I started walking away. Apparently, he tried yelling out to us, but ended up taking a different way home than we did. He told me this when he met me on the street when we were almost home, saying that next time I want to be an idiot and walk away, maybe stop and listen to him calling out. I didn't hear him, but honestly, he could have easily caught up to us. I was getting more and more upset and said I wanted to go for a drive to get coffee, and he said fine. I said I wanted to take the kids, and he asked why. Then I said fine, you stay home with them, and he said no, they can go with you, and started putting them in the car. I got in the car and he got in the passenger seat, to which I asked him if he's coming with me. He said yes, and to drive. I told him I didn't want him coming because he's being mean, and he said that he could be a lot meaner. As I started driving away, he kept going off on the usual BS he's been talking about lately, and I told him I don't want to hear it. He started screaming at me to keep driving and to shut the F up. I stopped the car and I told him to get out, and he made a motion with his fist like he was going to hurt me, but punched his hand in front of my face. At this point, I started crying and yelling at him to get out, and he yelled back, "No, just drive." I then said I should just drive him to the police station for that, and he said he would choke me unconscious before we even got there. Yeah, this is very serious. And I would be most concerned about the safety for my children as well. Like, at this point, it's a safety concern. It's not just strange behavior. I was crying even more at this point and said I don't want to be with him anymore and I want out. He said no. He continued to be rude for the rest of the car ride, where I pleaded with him to not treat me this way, especially in front of our children. It's not fair to them or to me. He said to not bring them into this. I said, how couldn't I? They are literally in the car. Anyway, after I drove us home, he asked how long I've been waiting to break up with him and who I'm replacing him with. I told him I haven't been and there's no one else, which of course he doesn't believe. When he got inside, he taunted me saying, I should take you to the cop station, in a girly voice. He's outside smoking and I'm inside with the kids writing this. Of course, I'm shaken up currently, but I don't know what to do. We only have the one vehicle, which is in both of our names. The place we rent is actually my mom's, so we don't have a lease, but both have our addresses attached to this place on our licenses. He wasn't always like this. Literally only the past couple months, his behavior has been this bad. I miss the person he used to be. I miss that he would spend time with me, with the kids, but he spends all the time by himself now. I don't know if he's going through some sort of manic episode or what's triggering this change in behavior, but I don't really know what to do. Is there something differently I could do to help him? Every time he talks to me about whatever situation is, he doesn't accept my answer I say, and also won't accept if I say nothing. So your hands are literally tied right now in this situation. She added an edit to this post. I just wanted to update and let you all know we are safe. I will mention a couple of things. Number 1, we are not in the US. Number 2, where we are, MJ is legal, so my spouse does get it from government-run dispensaries. I don't think there's a chance his stuff gets laced, aside from the fact that he mixes cigarettes with it. Number 3, a lot of people mentioned, I don't know how I can, an illegal substance that rhymes with Beth and starts with an M. Okay. There's just no way. He doesn't go anywhere randomly. He doesn't talk to people outside of our household, aside from the few times that he would go to the police station. I have his location on my phone so I can see where he goes and when he leaves. Now, let's check out some top comments so far on this story. Maybe they will have some more insight. Someone wrote, I just want to say I was that terrified kid in the back seat. Absolutely traumatizing. My mom always came up with an excuse as to why we couldn't leave the house or leave dad, made me suffer for many years of my life, and I'm 28 years old trying to deal with the trauma that it has given me. Please stop making excuses and leave. Get out for the kids. My mom never did, and it truly has ruined my mental health. That's a very understandable and relatable comment, I feel. I think a lot of people may have come from an unhealthy relationship, like within their parents, and how that affects them when they're growing up. Next comment, heavy MJ use can trigger the onset of schizophrenia in people who are already susceptible. Your husband is right about the age where this tends to happen in men. I'm not a doctor, but I really think this is a mental health emergency, either due to substance interaction, substance use itself, or because he is rapidly developing a psychotic disorder. You need to see a mental health professional, not the ER, and describe all of this behavior to them, including the frequency of his MJ use. I didn't know that. Can it really? I would love to look at the studies behind like long-term MJ use, to what extent that can affect the brain, like truly, out of curiosity. OOP wrote back to that and said, that's the thing. He saw a crisis nurse at the hospital and a therapist and social worker there, and I felt like the only thing they tried to do was get him to take a specific medication. But anyway, I don't think he is regularly taking it, and if he is, then definitely should not be mixing it with smoking MJ. Yeah, he also could be on the wrong medication. Sometimes, and I've had it in personal experiences in my life that I will keep personal because it includes people in my life, where the medication they were put on made it extremely worse. And once they got off of it or on a different medication, there was a lot of improvement. We have an update, and this update came 6 days later. To give an update, I left the house the night I made the post, but I went back home the following day. I wanted to be able to collect some sort of evidence that I could use because my spouse has been really good at downplaying his symptoms to any authority figure. I want to mention that I have been present at most doctor and hospital visits so far, so I know what they did recommend for him. I felt at the time that they did not give him enough help for the crisis that he was obviously going through. Anyway, continuing on. The couple days after the Sunday post, he did not really engage in much conversation with me or our children. Every time he entered the room, I set up my phone to record. I did not get anything until Thursday, when he finally started talking to me again. He was questioning who I've been talking to about him and who has been trying to sabotage his life. Obviously, I denied everything because there's no one talking to me about him, aside from this Reddit post, which he doesn't know about. This started to anger him, which included him yelling at me and saying if anyone is talking to me about him, to bring him to the house so he can take care of them himself. I tried not to engage anymore. This made him more upset as he was continuing to demand answers from me. He would then say, "Oh, I want to hit you," or "Don't make me slap you," when I was either not answering or just saying I didn't know what he was talking about. I got this on recording, thank God, like for your own safety. After he ended up walking away and leaving the room, I took the kids to bed, locked us in our room, and I tried to sleep. The following morning, he insisted on driving me to work. I told him I wanted the car. He disagreed with me and he said he needed it. After dropping the kids off, he started going off on me about how I am a stupid, dumb, B-word, etc. for keeping his inheritance. Again, something he is clearly having delusions about from him. I tried to disengage completely, keeping myself to the far side of the passenger seat, which caused him to grab me by the back of the neck and pull me closer to him, where he told me to listen to him. I obviously reacted to this and I was super upset, telling him to please focus on driving and to not touch me again. Girl, you gotta get out of there ASAP. After he drove me to work, the last thing I said to him as he was still going off on me with the car window open was, "You desperately need help." Once I got in, I called my boss and I let her know what happened. She came in, canceled her appointments for the day, and took me to the police station. We made a report, although the surgeon we initially spoke to seemed to be against us making a report. He kept saying he will be homeless if I report him, like he's the victim in this scenario. I told him my safety and the kids' safety should be more important, and he brought in a different officer to make the statement with me. Once I completed that statement, they let me know to stay away from the house as they were going to arrest him and will call once he's out of the house. About 5 hours later, he was arrested. Apparently, he was very compliant, and with all the information I provided, they actually took him to the hospital and he is currently on a 30-day psychiatric hold. That's the best place for him right now, like respectfully. He will be going to court at some point for uttering threats and assault, but seeing how he doesn't have a criminal record, I'm sure it will just end up being a slap on the wrist. So as of now, I am home, safe with the children, and we are getting our locks changed. I will also most likely get a protection order, but in an ideal world, he gets better, and that is not necessary. I guess we will see in the future. Let's check out what the comments are saying now. Someone wrote, make sure as soon as the protection order is in place to let the school know that he isn't allowed to take the kids out. Find a therapy place for you and the kids and have them help you explain to them that it's not safe to talk to dad at the moment. That way he won't try to get his revenge through them, and good for you, and your right to him ending up homeless is not your concern. OOP responded, they are toddlers, so they are a bit too young to understand, but their daycare is aware as well. Thank God. Next person wrote, I'm very proud of you for taking the first step towards a new healthy life for your kids and yourself. To continue on this path, you need to quit hoping for the best and start preparing for the worst. It's a long road, but you've shown the intelligence and fortitude to successfully seeing this through. That being said, I'm going to have to stress to you that he's not going to get better in 30 days. Get that restraining order ASAP. One reason is he will be served while in custody, instead of you having to track him down to serve him. Second reason, they look at how quickly you do these things when he goes to court for the charge. It shows you are actually going to follow through and the seriousness of your situation. The third reason is he is more likely to be charged for DV and threats. Fourth reason is it will usually make custody and separation move faster. This is one of those situations where crap in one hand and hope he miraculously becomes mentally healthy in 30 days in the other, which fills up quicker. Good luck and don't stray from your path to safety and happiness. What wonderful and useful advice though. Reddit can be a beautiful place. It can be terrible at the same time, but this human moment I love to see. OOP wrote back to that saying, thank you. It's definitely wishful thinking that he will get the treatment needed to be back to normal. I don't want to think of this as the end of our relationship, but at the same time, I don't know if he would be back with me since I got him detained. Right now, the only thing I'm thinking about are the kids. We do have more updates, but let's take a sip of water first. It's hydration station time, baby. Cheers. Drink some water today. I don't care what else you drink, but drink some friggin' water. Your body needs it. Because I am preaching over here. So, hallelujah. I gotta abide. Is that the word? Abide? Like abide by these rules? We have another update which came 4 months later. This is November 21st, 2024. I don't know if anyone will even see this. It's been a while since I updated. My spouse is doing a lot better. He received the treatment he needed in the psych ward at the hospital, gets a shot every so often instead of taking pills, and only smokes cigarettes now. Okay. He's back to his normal self again, engages in conversation with myself and our children like he did before this crazy stuff happened, has a job, and honestly is being a better partner overall. It took a lot of time for me to feel like I could trust him again, but we've taken a lot of time to work on things and get back to how we should be. I know a lot of people wanted me to leave and never look back, but you have to realize how he acted in my initial post was nothing like how he is as a person. Obviously, he had some sort of psychosis happening, which could have been a result of a high intake of MJ, plus a couple added stressors. I don't want to go into too many details because it will give away where we are, but basically something traumatic happened under 10 years ago that happened again a month before he started acting strange. It was one of those types of events that forces you out of your home for an undetermined amount of time. Anyway, that's all the detail I want to go into. Obviously, he was affected by it more than I thought because when this event happened, I was the one having a difficult time and he was my rock. But after we were able to get back home and have some normalcy, that's when things started changing for him. It started with him randomly needing to gain access to an old email, to thinking he was being recorded all the time, like he was on the Truman Show or something, to thinking that everyone, including me, was out to get him. This is when the threats of violence started happening. I was obviously in disbelief because in the entire time we've been together, nothing like this ever happened. I never once felt like I was unsafe. I never felt scared, unless the threats continued to come and he started to escalate. After he made excellent progress in the hospital and I had many reassuring conversations with the psychiatrist, I allowed him to come home when he was discharged. It was so hard not having him around. I cried all the time. Our kids really missed their dad, and he really missed us. He needed to get help, and I'm so thankful that I was able to find an effective solution. I love to hear that he's doing better, but in the back of my mind, all that's screaming to me is him being physical with you those few times. I understand that there was some mental health issues there, but that's still like, it's like a red flag. Like, I'm just scared and concerned for your safety, because what if, you know, his mental health struggles again and then he's physical again? Like, that's where it's like I can't forget about that factor. But let's see what the comments are saying. Someone wrote, I only wanted you to leave if he refused to get help. He got the help he needed and seems to be back to his normal self. Just keep an eye out for any changes in behavior. Next comment. This is a great update. I hope things continue to go well. Do not forget to take care of yourself and your mental health. What you went through must have been really scary. Wish you and your family all the best. I thought that was the final update, but I was wrong. We have an actual final update, and it's very recent. It came 10 months later, September 20th, 2025. Hello all. It's been almost a year since my last update. To keep things short, crap hit the fan this year. I'm bummed by that. I was really hoping this was going to be a positive update. He didn't take the medications he was supposed to, reverted into another major psychosis episode, which ended in him attempting to me after I disputed his delusions. He was removed from the home, and there's a protective order against him for myself and the kids. This happened earlier this year. My kids and I are safe, and I haven't heard from him since. Guys, I'm not trying to be insensitive by doing that. I just am trying to keep it as light as possible for it not getting flagged. Obviously, I don't want my channel to get a strike or anything. Don't be like me. Don't trust that someone will get better or attempt to work on their horrible mental health when they haven't proven to be reliable in other parts of their life. Don't try to fix someone who can't be fixed, or rather, just don't try to fix someone. All right, some of the final comments. Someone wrote, it's so tragic how many people have lived through similar experiences, and they all warned her, he will be fine. But then he will stop taking his medication, and then he will put your lives in danger. And sadly, the situation turned out to be no different. Next comment, it's sad because I have bipolar, and OOP doesn't give a diagnosis, so it could be bipolar or schizophrenia, and this isn't my reality at all. Once I was properly diagnosed, I took the pills, and I still take the pills. I was diagnosed nearly 8 years ago, and I'm not a rare case. Most of us are like this. You just don't hear about it because there's no need, I guess. And so many of us don't disclose to peers or colleagues because of the horror stories. It's likely everyone in this comment thread has interacted with someone like me in their lives and wouldn't even know. That is very true, actually. There is someone in my life that it's a similar case to this one that was just mentioned about having bipolar, and you wouldn't know because I think there's such like a stereotype about someone who has bipolar and how they act and what their actions would be. I think a lot of people would be surprised when someone gets diagnosed. You might not even know if they're being treated properly. This story is about mental health. I want to be open and honest with you guys. I've mentioned it before, I think, but I'm in therapy, and this is my first time doing therapy. I started in January at the beginning of this year to deal with a lot of childhood stuff, personal things that I've never addressed in my own life. And I know everyone can have a different experience with therapy. And I will always keep that in mind when I sit here with my own experience and say, therapy is a wonderful thing. Sometimes people don't have that experience with therapy. Matt actually had a therapist that he didn't really get much out of, so he's had to switch that, and everyone has different experiences. But I just wanted to share with you guys that even though someone's life may look all dandy and happy and perfect, You never know what they're going through, and I urge everyone to get help, to try therapy, to try other things if therapy isn't something you're comfortable with. I just thought I would share that, and I love you guys all so much. I really do. Like, I just care about all of our mental health. We all deserve to be mentally happy. We're only here once, you know? Anyways, now I'm gonna get angry. I'm really happy we're having this conversation. Truly, I think it's really good, even though it's more serious. It's not like our fun entertainment and tea. These are discussions that are important and relatable, and maybe someone out there will feel less alone or take a piece of advice from this. So I'll see you guys in the comments section. Let's keep it respectful and censor yourself. Stay classy up there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.